I'm gonna say it, and I was so scared. But just the fact that I said it, do you understand the amount of anxiety I felt right before saying it? And then as soon as it came out of my mouth, everything just went. That's truly where confidence comes from. I used to be very, very shy when I was younger. I would be scared to talk to people. Literally, I would just stand with a group of friends and like not say a single word because like I didn't know what was appropriate to say. And I would just watch how other people would interact and try to learn from that. And now, first of all, I make videos just yapping to the camera every single day of my life. I run a business where I have employees and I have to lead and create structures and tell people what to do. I have performed in front of audiences. I go out and dance like nobody's watching. I literally come up to strangers, I talk to people, and I mean, you can pretty much see that I'm a confident person now. So let's talk about how to go from being very shy, very insecure, having low self-esteem, to being one of the most confident people in the room. And honestly, I'm not even sure what the advice out there is for doing this because anything that I've been told in the past was not helpful. I've been told fake it till you make it, like just act like you're confident, but I've tried that and that creates an appearance of being confident, but I didn't actually feel it and I was always still second guessing myself and making sure like am I saying the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I acting socially appropriate? Because the way that I was raised, I didn't have a lot of social interactions, so I didn't know what I was supposed to do in these different situations. I've heard you have to look good to feel good, so get up, get dressed, put a little makeup on, and yeah, that helps a little bit too, but again, that's more appearance based. So, yes, you will appear confident, but will you actually feel confident and free to be yourself? And I spent the last 8 years working on this and I figured out what actually worked. And there's no shortcut to feeling confident, but it takes first being honest with yourself, figuring out what things that you don't really like about your personality, things that you don't want to continue doing, figuring out what type of person you want to be, and then slowly creating that person. But also, more importantly than all of that, just listening, learning how to listen to yourself and like what you actually feel, what's important to you, what you want, what you don't want, and then acting on that over and over and over again. So, for example, I was very shy and I didn't like that. I wanted to be more free. I wanted to be more easygoing. I wanted to be more relaxed. I wanted to be more fun. And I also noticed that I was like people pleasing a lot. I was actually codependent and I never knew that because I saw other codependent people and it was like a lot more loud, I think, for them, but for me it was very quiet. So again, I knew socially the correct way to act, but internally I was so frustrated with not getting the response that I wanted out of people, with people being disappointed in me or people not responding to me the way that I wanted them to. So I slowly had to undo all of that. I had to notice when I was expecting people to respond to me in a certain way or when I was saying something that I thought was the right thing to say and not do that and just say how I truly felt instead and like be okay with whatever their response was going to be. I also noticed that I was like too chill, like too cool. I would not say things because I was afraid that people are going to think, oh, she's a bitch, or oh, she's too difficult, or oh, she's too much. So I would play it off like everything is fine. I'm okay. Nothing bothers me. And it literally got to a point where I truly believed that nothing bothered me, but that's just because I was so used to being in these situations that weren't the best for me. I just kind of accepted it. And I learned that, well, there's no point of me having any feelings about this or saying anything about this or having any sort of response or commenting on it because it doesn't matter. It never mattered. What I want, what I feel doesn't matter. This is just how the world is. The world sucks and I just have to learn to deal with it. So I noticed that about myself and I started slowly changing that. And it was so hard. I remember the first time I had to tell somebody like how I actually feel about a situation, and I had to do it in a way where I wasn't just trying to get them to respond in a certain way or like do something about it, where I was just kind of stating like, "Hey, this is how I feel. Like this is bothering me and I don't appreciate it." It was so hard. Do you understand? I was talking to my therapist and I was like, "Well, maybe," she told me I have to do this and I was like, "Well, maybe I don't. Like maybe I can do something else." Maybe she was like, "Liz, you have to do this. There is no other way. You have to speak to this person." I just sat there and I was like, okay, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. And I was so scared. I don't know. It was for some reason so scary for me to say, hey, I'm upset, or I don't like this, or I'm hurt, or I don't appreciate that you did that, because I've just never done something like that in my life. And honestly, I didn't get the response I wanted. The person that I told this to wasn't very like, "Oh, I hear you. I understand." Like, they didn't apologize. They were kind of just like, "Oh, okay, cool." But just the fact that I said it, do you understand the amount of anxiety I felt right before saying it? And then as soon as it came out of my mouth, everything just went, I felt so much better. And then after doing it, like the second time was hard too. The third time was a little bit easier, but it just kept getting like less and less and less hard over time, until eventually not saying those things would make me more anxious than actually saying them. So those were like the things that I didn't like about myself that I wanted to change. And then doing that little by little, I started becoming more confident, because I'm like, okay, there are certain things that I'm doing that I don't really love about myself, certain qualities that I have, like really just fear, like acting out on fear. I didn't like that. So I started doing the opposite. And then I thought about, okay, well, who do I want to be? And I said, well, I want to be confident, right? But I also want to be a leader, and I want to be expressive, and I want to be fun, and I want to feel comfortable like going out and like dressing how I dress and dancing how I dance. So little by little I had to literally kind of like a vision board, right? When you're manifesting your life, you could also manifest who you want to be, because it's up to you. Most of our personality is just a habit. This is how we've been conditioned to respond to things. So we're just going to continue responding to those things until we like switch that pattern. I started acting in accordance with the person that I wanted to be. Even right now, I want to be really fucking rich and successful. So I asked myself, like, okay, what would I act like? What would my day be like if I was really rich and successful? And like the activities were very similar to what I was doing now, but it's more like the energy that I was doing them with needed to change. For example, taking myself more seriously, or just waking up and being ready, like doing my makeup a little bit, kind of feeling more put together about what I wear. Like even if I'm working from home, like kind of putting on even just like a cute little comfy outfit. That was what I pictured my life would be like. So I started doing those things. And it really does make a huge difference, because you're also telling yourself that this is possible for me, and that builds confidence. And I think the last thing that really helped me build confidence was listening to myself, listening to my feelings, and responding to them. So not reacting to them, not pushing them down, not like sitting with them forever and just like bottling them in, but really in any moment trusting myself. For example, walking into a room and noticing the vibe there. In the past, I would have tried to match that energy, match that vibe. Oh, these people are like really big into books, for example, like so into books. And this is just an example. Like I love books too, but it's not my whole personality. But let's say like I walked into a situation, into a group, and these people were really into books. I would also try to pretend like, oh my God, I'm so into books. I'm so into books. Or if they were into like, I don't know, some sort of game, I'd be like, oh my God, yes, and I would try to portray that, because I thought that's what I had to be like. And it was very hard, because I would go from like different groups and like different like social situations, and like everybody is different, but in each situation I thought, oh, I have to be more like that, I have to be more like them. It's not like any of these were necessarily wrong for me, but even just listening to that and being like, okay, well, I'm kind of into books, but I also like movies more, or I like music more, and just kind of saying that, or being, I don't like sports. I, d- I don't like this. Sometimes being with a group of people and just being like, this is not my vibe. Like, they're not bad people, but it's just like not the right vibe for me. I would keep friends for so long just because I wanted friends, but they weren't the right friends for me. And again, not that they were bad people, but they just like weren't on the same vibe, on the same energy, on the same wavelength as me. Listening to that helped me feel so much more secure in myself and trust myself more. That's truly where confidence comes from. Or even talking to men, like sometimes men will think that just because they are nice, that we owe them something. I felt like, well, he's being nice to me. Why can't I just say, like, I'm good, no thank you, like I don't want to continue this interaction, or like I don't even want to continue being friends, because they'll play it off like they're just trying to be friends with you, and at the end of the day they only want one thing from you. And don't get me wrong, that's not everybody. Like sometimes people will be nice to you and they do just want to be friends with you, but again, for me, if it's not the right person, or for just some reason I get this gut feeling that like I don't think I want to be friends with this person. I don't think that we are really like matching right now. To walk away from that faster and to really just like listen to myself has been huge in building my confidence. Or even things in business, like I've received advice from people telling me that this is the right thing to do in your business, this is the wrong thing, do this, do that. I've done like a lot of like marketing, a lot of photo shoots, and I've had people tell me, well, like this is what you need to wear, like you need to look professional, you need to cover your tattoos, you need to do this and that. And logically it sounded right, because what they were saying, their intention was good. Their intention was, you need to build credibility and you need to build authority, and people will respond better to somebody who looks professional, right? So like logically, the logic was there, but something about it for me was just like, but I don't think so. I don't think that that's the truth for me. I don't think that's how I'm going to become known. I don't think that's how I'm going to be seen. I don't think that that's going to be the best for my business. And going against what everybody was saying, successful people, right? Like these were not people who hated me. These were people who actually cared for me, who wanted the best for me because it worked for them. So they were just giving me that advice. But just being like, no, I don't think that's what's best for me. I'm going to go and do this other thing. And just going and doing it. And listen, even if it didn't work out, I think I still would have built confidence from that, because I trusted in myself. So to summarize, confidence for me was built through changing the things that I don't like about myself, really just not acting on fear anymore, figuring out who I actually want to be, and then slowly, little by little, becoming that person, and then getting really good at listening to myself and responding to that appropriately, responding to my feelings. So if you like content like this, subscribe for more, like this video, comment, let me know which one of these things seems the most helpful to you that you can actually apply in your life, and I will see you next time.